Peace, peace, soul family. Welcome, welcome, welcome here tonight. Oh my goodness. Happy equinox, new moon. Welcome, Libra season. Just so much is happening tonight. Welcome everyone that is here tonight. Listen. The energy that am I loud? I feel like I'm so loud. The energy that I am on tonight is the energy that I was on back in March when I did the video talking about the biggest reset of generations, right? Of like 300 years, that type of energy. When I was speaking about the Kali Naga, right? That type of energy. That is the energy that I'm on tonight. I literally just spoke to my daughters and just broke everything down to them, just like I did back in March. I know what the title says. I know what the description says. When I tell you like about an hour, 2 hours ago, and this always happens, Spirit was like, nah, look at this picture. Look at this situation. Look what's going on. And when I tell you the information, when I say follow your promptings, I hope y'all are doing it. I know they may sound weird. They may feel weird sometimes, like, why am I doing this thing? Do it anyway. Follow that resonance within you. Do you hear me? Because on Wednesday, was it Wednesday or Tuesday? I followed this resonance within me. It led to all of this, y'all. So let me say this. What are we going to talk about tonight? It's a lot. A lot. We're going to talk about genetics, DNA, your gifts, your spiritual gifts. Like, we're going to go deep, but I'm going to back it up with history. So I'm going to give you a history lesson, give you some science. This is not all stuff I got from a book. This is stuff that I lived, y'all. I was there. I witnessed with my own eyes, with my own body. Okay. And Spirit brought all of this back to me because of something that happened on Wednesday. So we're going to take our time with this. I'm going to take my time because there's so much that I want to share. Is things I'm going to share with you that you have not heard before. Okay. There's some things I'm going to share that's going to upset whoever. I don't know, whatever powers, so-called powers, whatever. I really don't care. You need to know this. I meditated before and I asked my spirit team, like, should I share this or should I stick with what I was going to talk about, right? Because I was going to talk about the cycles that we're in, this equinox. And Spirit was like, nah, that's not it. You have to expose this because spiritual beings need to be activated, period. This has to happen. And activation happens when there's knowing that creates a resonance within your DNA. We're going to talk about DNA, y'all. Okay. So welcome to everyone that is here. I'm so happy that you all are here tonight. I'm making sure that I'm recording this because I'm gonna say some of those trigger words that you should not say because of the algorithms, just because I'm gonna be flowing and just because I don't care. But I am recording this video just in case. Like many of my other videos were removed because of medical misinformation or I'm spreading whatever. But everything that I'm saying to you is backed up. It is backed up. One of my prayers always is, I only want to speak in truth. If it's not truth, then what is the point? What is the purpose? And so many times when I'm sharing with you, I'm going to give you the science because you can't dispute the numbers. You can't dispute the science. Do you understand? And so this is where we're coming from tonight. So where do I start? Where do I start? So let me start with this. Wednesday, I had a meeting with someone, and this was a meeting that we scheduled a couple of times because of random things was rescheduled. And so when I tell you Wednesday, I was exhausted. I think the night before, did I have a class? I don't know. I was exhausted. I could not get up. And I texted my daughter and I said, I'm not going to go to my appointment. It's an hour and a half drive. I just can't do it. I'm exhausted. And I text her, I put the phone down, and my spirit was like, get up, get up. Success requires discipline. Success in anything requires discipline. You're going to let your body cancel this again? There's something there. And I said, let me get up. When I tell you, I rolled out of the bed, got myself dressed. 20 minutes, called an Uber because I was too tired. I was too tired to drive. Called an Uber, paid $97, y'all, to go to this meeting. And when I tell you, so I'm gonna give you some information, not too much about what happened. So I go to this meeting, and I met with a woman. I never met her before, but I scheduled this with her. She's technically a biologist. She's a doctor. Um, she's a biologist. And when we first started speaking, she was talking about genetics. And so I was sharing some stuff with her, and she says, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a professor by trade. And then she says, where did you go to school? So I said, I went to Rutgers University, and her eyes lit up. And she said that she went to another particular university. And I was like, and then she went to school. She's a little bit older than me. So she was in like medical school when I was in undergraduate school. So like we probably crossed paths. So now we're having this whole conversation. Listen, because now she's excited. She's like, I knew you weren't from here. So we're having this whole conversation. And she's talking about, listen, oh my gosh, y'all. She says to me that she has really good friends who are vets. And she says, I don't want nobody getting offended. And she says she finds that her veterinarian doctor friends have more knowledge than her medical doctor friends. And she says the reason why is because they study genetics. And I said, well, you didn't study genetics? Listen, I'm going to put some pieces together. And she says, well, she said, well, I studied it. But in 1998, so let's back up. Before 1998, so in order for you to be a doctor, you can be a medical doctor, or you can get more degrees. You can be PhD, etc. Medical doctor, it's like 4 years. PhD is like an additional year of research, right, and presentation. But medical doctors, in order to get an MD, you had to take a core requirement of genetics. Well, duh. That's like studying architecture and not taking geometry. Do you understand? That's like studying music and not knowing the scales. Do you understand? That's like learning how to be a plumber and not knowing the different types of pipes there are. I don't know. What do you mean? She said, not until a couple of years ago, medical doctors did not have to take genetics. And I said, that doesn't make sense. They're dealing with healing the human body. And she says, I know. And so we begin having this conversation about genetics. So I said, well, that's interesting. Because when I went to college, my major was physics. And what I wanted to study wasn't a major yet. She said, what is your major? And I said, well, I created my own major, right? But I wanted to study what we now know as quantum physics. It did not exist back in the 1990s. Listen. In the late 1990s, there was an international group of biologists got together, and they started the Human Genome Project. I'm telling y'all stuff that you may not know. Listen to this. They got together and they created this program called the Human Genome Project, GENOME. And their goal was to map human DNA. Follow me, y'all. And so in 2003, they said, aha, we've done it. We have decoded human DNA. We have found the codes, and we now understand human DNA. We are the best. Okay? It's done. DNA research is done. We have mastered it. That is it. But listen, y'all, listen. They were right. They did decode what was codable. Listen to me, because you're not taught about you. You're not taught about your body. You're not taught about who you are as a spiritual being. This is who this message is for. They decoded 2% of human DNA. Why 2%? Why only 2%, Professor? You said that they did the whole, they decoded it. They found the codes for DNA. What do you mean just 2%? Because 98% is uncodable. What do you mean 98% of human DNA is uncodable? 98% of human DNA, they cannot test it. They cannot capture it because it is not tangible. They can't see it. Listen, 98% of human DNA is quantum. Now, remember I told you at the time, there was no such thing as quantum physics. It wasn't a thing, y'all. I went to school to study it. It didn't exist. It was regular physics. We were studying planets, the space between the planets and distance and energy. We were studying that. But beyond that, there wasn't a field. Epigenetics wasn't a field because they had finished genetics. The medical school said no more genetic classes. So I'm trying to be careful on what I say here. I'm trying to be careful on what I say. 98% of human DNA is uncodable because it is spiritual. It is ancestral. It is galactic. A couple of years ago, I spoke on mitochondrial DNA and I broke it down how it's traced through the mother and how you trace your genetic line through the mother lineage, through your DNA, through the mitochondrial DNA, right? Some of you may have seen that video, okay? 98% is not, they don't know what, so they call it junk DNA. How the hell you call something junk? Not even like, I can understand if they coded 98% and they couldn't figure out 2% and called 2% DNA, but they called the 98% junk. Listen. So I'm gonna try to stay on track, and I'm gonna try to give you the pieces of all this. At the same time, so we're talking about between 1998 and 2003. At the same time, if you were around then, you noticed the same thing I noticed. So I remember I was a junior. I remember I was a junior on campus, and I had a friend, and she pulled up. It was called Buggy Eye Benz, like this Benz. It was like this nice Mercedes Benz. It was like she had money. Like, I don't understand. We were just in class last month. Like, where you get all this money from? She had a suit on, and she was like, "Girl, you need to leave Rutgers. You need to drop out and make this money." And so I'm like, "What you doing? Right? Like, what you doing?" And she was like, "I work for a pharmaceutical company." And I said, "Doing what? Like, how you make all this money working for a pharmaceutical company?" She was making like 60 something $1,000 a year. Now, nowadays, that's not a lot, but back then, that's like making $200,000. Okay. That was a lot of money. Okay. So I said, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I just go to doctor's offices and share these medicines with them, these prescriptions with them, and I get paid. And we go out to eat, and it's just like the life." And one by one, I started seeing other girls leaving college and working for these pharmaceutical companies. Now, listen, if you're familiar with Rutgers University, there's a main street called George Street, right? I haven't gone to that street in a long time. I think it's George Street. On the street is the headquarters of Johnson & Johnson. It has nothing to do with Rutgers, but the main building, the old brick building, Johnson & Johnson, is there. And many of the students were going to work for this pharmaceutical company. Follow me. At this time on television, some of y'all remember this, We started seeing commercials. I don't know. What's a drug that people take? Let's say, I don't know, Valtrex. What is Valtrex? And it would be these lovely people on bikes and having fun. And it's like, take this medicine. And at the bottom, you would hear like, this medicine may induce trauma, it may cause suicidal thoughts, it may result in death, like all these bad things. But these people were so happy. It was the oddest thing for us because it's like, what are these commercials? It was weird. Now it's more common, but back then, they didn't advertise pharmaceutical drugs on TV. That's odd. Okay. Ask your doctor about this drug today, right? Weird shit. All this was happening the same period of time, y'all. So medical doctors are no longer studying genetics. Okay. They believe that they have uncovered the whole human genome. They know they didn't. Only 2% was coded. The other one they can't code. Listen, all these pharmaceutical drugs are coming out, and guess what else became popular? Guess what else became popular? What's it called? Do y'all remember? I'm going to go back. Maury Povich, some of these talk shows with finding out who the baby father was, Judge Judy, and the DNA tests. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that when that came out? All of a sudden, there are these DNA tests. People started to hear about DNA tests. That was not a thing before this time. So DNA tests not only could tell if you were the father, you are the father, right? It's people started to hear it more. And then this wonderful thing happened called what 23andMe DNA, 23andMe DNA, ancestry DNA. And you have all these people that have been disenfranchised, especially in the Americas, especially in the United States. Let me be specific. Black Americans who do not know their lineage past their grandmother or great-grandmother, wanting to find out where they are from in Africa. Listen, I had a cousin that did one of these tests. I knew that something was off because I know the history of all this stuff. And I had a cousin that did this test, and it came back that he was like 98% Nigerian. And I was like, now how the hell are you 98% Nigerian and our grandmother is a whole Aniwaya? She's whole Cherokee. How is that possible? Something is off with these tests. You're my cousin. I know what our bloodline is on this side. That's not right. Listen. So people were willingly giving up their DNA, right? Because you want to find out what your ancestry is. We didn't find out until last year that they said it was stolen or it was sold. Your DNA is being sold. All right. Now let me backtrack. Let me backtrack on the audacity. Let me tell y'all some more history. I'm gonna bring it together, y'all. Back in the mid, I don't know, 50s, 60s, and I spoke about this. There's a video I did that says they're lying. I think it's called "They're Lying to Us." I did it, I think in May, and I gave a history on education and certain things. But back in the actually before that, we're talking about the 1920s. Really, only the elite knew about this back in the 1920s, but it starts to become popular in the 1950s and 60s, where they said, where you have these spiritualists that were saying that there's going to be a group of babies that are going to be born. Listen, and they're going to be gifted. And they were channeling, saying they were going to come from places not of Earth. Orion, Sirius, Pleiades, Lyria, Mu. Okay? And they were going to be very gifted and very powerful. Listen. And they said they were going to be born in early 70s to late 70s. The government knew about this from the early 1900s because you had channelers like Edgar Cayce that was telling the president this. Now, When beings that are from here, okay, know that beings that are more powerful are coming here, it's a problem. We know about the Space Force now, but trust that this is not anything new. Trust this is not anything new. And that the technology that is in this 3D reality is nothing compared to technology that is from other planetary places. So listen, what they started doing to children, what they started doing is telling the teachers, if you have a child that is odd, different, unusually active, hyperactive, or very intelligent, or doodling, anything not normal, test them. We want to test them. And so they started pulling kids out of classes to test them. I'm not saying they are tested for A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. I'm saying the tests were odd, y'all. And I know this because I was one of them. Testing for sounds to hear certain frequencies, looking at symbols and being asked, do you know what this means? Okay. Very odd physical tests. A lot of different tests were happening. Many of the children were then put into another program. You've seen these things on TV, on movies. This was real, y'all. This really happened. This is not made up. Marvel is not making this up. Okay? This really happened. This is not fantasy TV, none movies. This really happened. Some of these kids went to these programs and were messed up. Geniuses ended up on crack because they drugged them. Listen, they drugged them. And when they turned 18, something happened. And we're going to get to that. Well, I'll tell you now. When they turn 18, oh, we can't give you the drugs anymore. Well, what you going to do? You end up on crack cocaine or heroin because you need something because the drugs they gave you were so strong. The drugs they were giving them were psychedelics. Y'all, listen. Let me take a moment. I know this because some of these were my peers. I didn't get caught up in it because my mother said my daughter's not doing that. I don't know what that is. She's not doing that. And I'm so grateful. Now, listen, at this time, all they can do was give them certain tests. The technology was not there yet. They couldn't see what was inside of their genes. Remember the years I told you, 1998, right? The 2000s. Remember those years? This is when the last bit of this generation, we're talking about Gen X, Generation X. This was when the last bit of this generation were turning 18 and 21, the legal age of consent, where they can say yes to certain things, no to certain things. They no longer needed their parents' permission. And at this time is when they started introducing all these DNA tests, because now, and listen to what I'm saying, they tracked all the kids that were tested were and are tracked to this day. Trust that. When they turn 18 and 21, now they can check now they can check their DNA. But you can't just take someone's DNA. They have to willingly give it to you. And this became the process, the cycle of saying, hey, do you want to know what part of Africa you're from? Do you want to know where your great, 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 whatever's from? Give us your DNA. And then we'll tell you. And I said, you don't just give that away. They were looking for patterns. Excuse me. They're looking for patterns. They're looking for codes. They're looking for ancestral lineage, y'all. They were looking for galactic lineage, y'all. They were looking for certain gifts in the DNA. Every single athlete that is owned by a sports team, you heard what I said, owned. They do not have the rights to their body or their DNA. They all have to give their DNA. There are some people, there are some athletes that don't get picked for a team, and you're wondering why. It's because they sampled their DNA and they don't have the markers. They're looking for, why is this person not reactive to this? Why is this person's body able to do this? Why are they able to think this way? They have been tracking these things since the late 90s, y'all. Listen, 98% is not able to be codified. They can't figure out how to calculate it, how to tap into it, because it is spiritual, it is galactic, it is ancestral. When Spirit told me about so let's backtrack. Let's go back to March. So in March, remember and I'm referencing these videos because if you did not watch them, watch them. Video I did is the greatest portal of our life, of our generations, excuse me, March 20th to the 29th. And I said, tap in. Whether you do or not, you're going to be affected. Whether you do or not, you're going to be affected. That was a portal that not only was it the new year, it was a cycle of over 300 years. It was multiple cycles at one time ending. And I said, this is a year, not only is it a 9-year, and no, we know it's not the 2025th year of this earth. It doesn't matter. Collectively, it is 9. There's a reason why it is that year. Okay. And so collectively, this year is a major shift, major transformation. I said everything falls, everything collapses, everything has to transform. What you think is no longer, which your ideas are going to shift. Everything shifts, everything's meant to transform. That was in March. I said the Kali Naga woke up. All the Kalis, all the Nagas woke up. That divine feminine energy rose up. And it's not the divine feminine of, oh, I'm pretty, let me get my nails done, or soft feminine. It is the warrior, the ones who guarded the borders of the Americas, warrior women, physical bodied women. Okay. They woke up, y'all. They woke up. They woke up. And they started activating in many of you, men and women, because there's no respect of necessarily of the physical body. So just because you're a woman doesn't mean nothing. Just because you're a man doesn't mean nothing. Let me tell you, it doesn't mean that you're more spiritual or not. Just because you're Black or you white or you Asian or whatever, we're talking about genome. It's not about your phenotype or how you look. You hear me? It's not about what's between your legs. You hear me? So I hope I want to say I hope I'm not offending anyone at the same time. So where was I? I went left, y'all. Where was I? Yes, the Kali Naga woke up. It activated this divine feminine energy because enough is enough. The divine mothers were like, enough is enough. Enough is enough. This is the year. The ancients spoke about this year. This was the year. Okay. We had another major shift that happened in June. And in June, this is when I publicly presented, we're shifting. Spiritual Ascension University was existing in a loop, curricular, circle. And we're now operating as temple, spiral, because it's activations that has to happen. I'm no longer just lecturing. I did a activation workshop last night. I'm no longer just lecturing. I'm activating. Let's do the work to activate. Activate. That's the word. Activate. Embody. Integrate. We've been too long in a place dealing in masculine energy, not man. Masculine meaning knowledge, learning, getting all this information, reading all these books, and not embodying it. What's the point of learning all this stuff if you don't walk it, if you can't use it, if you forgot it? And so in June, we had the next level, summer solstice, which was it's time to spiral up. It's time to start activating. Let's really do this work. I then taught on the veils, and I said the veils they're burning. They are burning, and that's why the weather is the way the weather is. I think that was like 2 videos ago. If you didn't watch that as well. All of this will make sense. And then last week we did the video on the 3 distortions, right? And these are the distortions that keep you from really integrating, really being active on your spiritual path. Because so many times people are on, then they get off, then they on, then they off, they don't know, then they switch because they've never really integrated this. Because there are these things that get in the way that you don't even recognize are major things anyway. You think, oh, that doesn't really affect me. That's not a big deal when it is. And so in between these 2 eclipses that we had, from September 7th and yesterday, these distortions were coming to the surface. And as I shared, it was your job to do the work, to allow them to come to the surface, and whatever work you were led to do. If you received the alignment letter, I gave you what to do. Everyone that's in the collective, we did an activation workshop yesterday. We did the work last night. And those who did not attend last night, watch the replay. I gave you a document and I told what to do. Do it tonight. Okay. You don't have to believe any of this. You need to know it. It needs to resonate within you. So let's get back to all this biology and genome and all this wonderful, wonderful stuff that's happening. So you have all of these people willingly giving up their DNA, right? Willingly being tested, y'all. Your stuff was being tested, and you have these scientists that are paid by certain beings on this planet to find certain things, and they started finding stuff. They started finding patterns, y'all. They started finding patterns with certain people. Listen. Now we can't go after and attack people. Like, we can't just pick a population of people and go after them. It has to be blanketed, and they just have to be affected. Listen, how do we attack certain people's DNA, a certain group that we're seeing patterns with? How do we attack this? And let me tell you what I mean by attack. How do we shut down these DNA? Because the 2% that they can codify, they know how to turn things on and off. Have y'all heard that? Like, if they find that you have breast cancer on a certain allele, they can switch it off. Have y'all heard that? That's what they tell you to make you feel like, oh yeah, let me find out. Let me switch that cancer gene off. But there's other stuff that they were able to find, certain patterns that they were able to find, listen, in certain populations of people. Now we can't just go after these people. How do we up 288 in the chat? How do we get to them without making it obvious? Let me pause on this. Listen. Yes, TJ. Freaking COVID-19, so-called vaccine. I did a whole video and I broke down what it was, and I broke down how it affects the blood. And I said people are going to have myocarditis. People are going to start dropping dead. How it affects it is it's mRNA. It's meant to turn off parts of the DNA. Y'all, this video may be taken down. I'm recording it. Share what I'm sharing, what I'm saying right now. Listen. And they literally went after certain populations of people, telling people the audacity. I remember the mayor of New York City, the audacity for him to say, hey, come get this juicy hamburger for a vaccine shot. It shows you the level of intellect they think of these people. offering BS, not saying come get a book or a gift card or whatever that is substantial, but a burger, come get this chicken sandwich, get a free chicken sandwich to get your vaccine shot. So delicious. And then attacking people, oh, you're selfish. You're not really about the community. And because it was audacious, you get rappers that we haven't heard from in 20 years, Juvenile and some other rappers, to be rapping about, yeah, get your COVID shot, whatever. Like, do you think us as ignorant and dumb and foolish? They went after certain populations because they know what they found in those codes. Only 2% of the codes, only from 2% of what they found. The other 98% they can't codify. Listen, the latest one was attacking the divine feminine, was attacking feminine. And when this thing came out, there was a family in particular who promoted it. And when it came out, I said, this thing is going to cause serious medical issues. People are going to get cancer and they're going to devastate their liver. Listen, was it 2 years ago? Was the Ozempic shot? I told anybody that I knew, do not take that. Literally, one of the ingredients is a poison. It literally is a poison. There's literally ingredient in there that shuts down parts of your DNA. What the hell does a weight loss drug need that for? It's not even a weight loss drug. It really isn't. I don't know if I talked about this during the kidney detox, because it really is for diabetics. And when you really understand how the kidneys work, you really know that you don't need that there's other things you can do. But that's another thing. And when I tell you the reports that are going to be happening over the next year from people that took that just to lose weight because of heart chakra issues, because you're insecure, or because of solar plexus issues, because you don't have the willpower to do the work, to find out what to do, the discipline. Listen, it may hurt your feelings. I have to tell you the truth. If you on it, get off and detox yourself. And more is coming. More is coming. Too many people are knowing now that are not falling for it. So there's plans on how to have something else what widespread that can shut down more DNA. The reason why is because next year is coming, y'all. I said I can't wait for 2026. I can't wait. I'm excited for now because what is happening is that the 98% of the DNA is starting to activate. It's starting to wake up every time your soul hears something that there's remembrance to it. It starts unlocking pieces of it. I always tell my students, I'm not teaching you anything new. You know this. My job is to activate it within you. That's my job. So it has to resonate. If it doesn't resonate, that's not it. You have to feel it within you. Where do you feel this information within you? That's where it's being unlocked. My daughter, just like right before I came on, she said there was a meme that said, "When did everybody become unafraid of needles?" Like when they were younger, everybody was afraid of needles. Not everybody's injecting themselves with things, injecting themselves, all sorts of things. No one's afraid of needles anymore. Oh, it's a vaccine. Oh, I'll do this. I'll have multiple of these things. And what it's doing is literally detoxifying your body. And this planet the sun is doing its best to detoxify you because there are codes coming down. There's information that's coming down to wake up parts of your DNA that have been dormant for millennia. But if the very part that supports in a detoxification is loaded with junk, then it can't work. What are you talking about when you say the liver? The liver is connected to the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system runs throughout your whole entire body. You can't pump it. It doesn't pump by itself. It moves because when you move, it moves when you're in the sun. We know the seven main chakras. As I teach, we have thousands of chakras. I have a hand. I have a chakra here, here, here. Every place where there's a meridian point is a chakra. Okay, I can point, I can do certain things and activate certain energies. These meridian points literally sit with the lymph nodes or with these points of lymph throughout the body. But if I toxify the liver, then I'm toxifying the lymphs, y'all. If I'm toxifying the lymphs, then I'm toxifying the chakras. And if I'm doing that, then I can't use my gifts. I said a lot. Let me know if this is making any sense, if this is connecting in any way at all. The goal is to shut you down, to shut your gifts down, to shut your powers down. That is the goal. But it can't work. It can't done. It can't work. They tried it with the whole generation. Now, let me go back to my friend, the geneticist. We were talking, y'all. We were talking. And she says, Melanie, if two parents that have certain DNA signatures marry, which is rare, because they would be like two same personality types that would come together. They would create basically like it's like a beast. So let me give you an example. Two greyhound dogs. You know, greyhound is the fastest dog. If two greyhound dogs that have special genetic codes that certain greyhounds have come together, when they mate and they have a baby greyhound, I saw the picture. It's in this book. I saw the picture, y'all. Because you better believe my friend, she told me, get this book. I was on Amazon ordering all the books. Let me see if I can find it. When they mate, let me see. Give me 1 second. Because when I saw the picture, I was like, is that real? Give me 1 more second so I can find it really quick. All right. I can't get it. It's okay. But when they mate, they literally create this superhuman dog that looks like he's buff, like just muscular, because he has the power of all these genetics. And so what was happening is that people started connecting because of the internet. People like-minded started connecting. Listen, you had a lot of older Gen Xers or Gen Xers that started connecting with each other through social media, through the internet, through some of these websites. Like mind, right? Because in your community, like you're probably the only one that thinks like that. So you opposites attract, right? So you'll marry somebody that they don't think like you, whatever. But if you can find someone in this place, they think like you connect, y'all have a child together, you create a genetic firestorm. And so what happened is that started happening with older Gen X's and Gen X's. And what they started doing was creating these babies that their genetics is so unbelievable. So unbelievable. And then what do you think happened? Let me give you some more history. In 2012, I was taking a master's course. There was this course that teachers were advised to take, and they said, take this class. Once you take this class, you can teach special ed. Like, how you just take one class, teach special ed? And they said, because by 2020, 20% of children will be special needs. 20% of children, this is 2012, 20% of children, 1 in every 5 children will be autistic or on the spectrum. I said, they're not even born yet. How do you know this? What they knew is that these parents were coming together and they were creating these powerful beings. What they didn't understand is that these parents were coming together and opening a portal for these powerful beings to come in. This is why genetics was taken out of the medical schools. This is why genetics was taken out of the medical schools. Multiple reasons. Because if we can remove genetics, we can replace it with pharmaceuticals. If we can remove the very understanding of the root cause to something, right? Then someone can have 10 symptoms and we can treat 10 symptoms with 10 different doctors and 10 different medications and destroy the liver, which then destroys the lymphatic system, which then shuts down the meridians, which then shuts down the chakras, which then shuts down the gifts of those who are gifted, y'all. Let me know in the chat if this is making sense. Let me know in the chat if this is resonating. Tanya, you said as an educator, you heard the same. Yes. All these spectrum thing, all the spectrums, and they don't know what the hell. They don't know what. You hear me? First it was ADD in the early 2000s, then it became ADHD. Then it became this huge, what type of autism, we don't know. They just on the spectrum. What the hell does that mean? What's wrong with my child? Instead of that child is gifted. So why am I saying all this? Why am I saying all this to you now? Because it doesn't matter. Let me say this. I'm speaking, this is not for the world. This is not we are the world. I'm speaking to a specific group of beings that you know that I'm here for something. Is bigger than me. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't really know how to get there. I don't really know who I am, but I know that I'm here for something. Do you understand? And I can't stop it, even when I want to. I'm speaking to you. I'm not speaking to those who want to be entertained. This is cool. This is a fad, spiritual stuff, spirituality. Namaste. I'm a vegan. I wear crystals, whatever, because it's fun. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to the ones who are actually like, I want to do this work. I want to know. I have to. That's just it. I'm speaking to you. Because here is the 100% truth. You are being activated right now. You've been activated. So all the things that you think are weird happening to you are not. When I tell you, find your community and connect to them. I have students that are in the collective, that are in Spiritual AU, and they share stuff and they're like hesitant to share it. And I'm like, that's a gift. You're writing sigils. You're speaking light language. Share it. You're not weird. You are powerful. You're not broken. You are whole. This is your work. We need you to do your work. But when you're isolated, you hold those gifts and those things to yourself and you never develop it. You're being activated without you realizing, and there's different levels of activation. All of you are activated. Let's just say it like that, because you're here. Because you could be anywhere right now. Like, real talk. You can be watching, I don't know what's happening in the news or in the world. You could be anywhere right now, but you chose to be here for whatever reason. You are here. So I'm going to say, Let me be realistic with this. 60% of you activated. I don't know. Some of you are the ops, some are bots. I don't know. But the majority of you who are here already activated in some way. But there's levels to it. There's levels to it. And so today, September 22nd, 2025, the fall equinox, a choice happens. And the choice really is you going into higher dimensional reality space. Okay. The distortions that I presented last week, I said they're going to come up because they're meant to fall away. Your work is to do the work to assist that falling away. Okay. It's going to happen. And what do I say? Two paths. We can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way. Okay. The easy way is we're going to spiral up tremendously. You're still going to spiral, spiritual beings. Not everyone. Most of the world is in a loop. Where they are today, where they're going to be next year. I'm not talking about financially. The amount of people that have wealth, that have fame, that have all this stuff are the same people that are like seeking spiritually, trying to figure out who they are. So I'm not speaking like that. Or you can stay in a spiral that's spiraling slightly and you're frustrated. You gotta make decisions. You gotta make conscious decisions and stick with it. I said it to my class last night, and I'll say it again. I see too many spiritual beings that start something. Spirit told me to do something, and you give up. You give up. Spirit told me to start this podcast, and you all excited for this podcast, whatever. And you have 83 followers. Oh, I got 83 followers, and I have 100 followers. It's been 6 months. I only have 100 followers. This ain't for me. I don't have any ideas. I'm just. This is a. What happened? What happened? I thought Spirit told you to do that. Why you gave up? Why you gave up? You have to be so fit. Listen, when you're given something spiritually, you do it until you can't do it anymore. You will know when the door closes because you can't move forward. You will know when the door closes. And when that door closes, it opens up another door for someone else. And it will be seamless. But you keep going. Who told you to stop? Whatever that thing was waiting for you at the next step, at the next corner, and you stopped. I meditate every day. Nothing's happening. Someone told me this last week. They said, Professor, I wasn't going to meditate because I never get anything. And that morning, I just felt let me meditate. And they showed me a piece of paper. I got so much information. And I said, and what if you didn't get up to meditate that morning? That's a distortion that you're not good enough. That's a trauma. I'm not good enough that my spirit team is not speaking to me, that this is not working. I'm doing the work and my bank account looks like this. It's not working. Don't let this reality stop you from moving the way you're meant to move. I'm telling you right now, many of your activations are going to be so profound. You're going to move so fast, so great because of all the work you've been putting in. It has to happen. I don't care how much they spray the sky. They cannot stop electromagnetic radiation coming down from the sun. You hear me? They can't stop it. It could be cloudy as hell. You still get sunburn if you go out there. They can't stop what is here. They can't stop the ships that are here, y'all. Listen. I'm not saying this for whatever reason. I'm saying this because I have actual knowledge. I live in a specific place. I live between two of major air bases, military air bases in this country, in the area of the country where all the bases are. I know what I see. I know what I hear. They're here. But if you're in a low vibrational place and you stuck in fear, guilt, shame, and you starting and stopping and starting and stopping, it's like, well, well, damn. I can't. Every time I'm trying to talk to her, trying to talk to him, they like, I don't want to do this work anymore. Pick something. I told my daughter, she was telling me like, Mom, school is so hard. She literally is like an engineering genius, freaking genius. And she said, it's just so hard. And I said, pick your hard, pick your hard. Don't do it. Don't do what you love to do and see how your life is in 10 years. Working at a job that you don't want to work. That's hard. Or do the hard work now. And in 5, 10 years, you work at a job where you have your business that you want to do. Pick the hard that you want. Do you understand? Both ways are going to require discipline. One discipline is doing the discipline to the work you want to get to, and one discipline is the opposite. Because even when you do nothing, that's discipline. You're disciplining and doing nothing, not doing the work. You hear me? When you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and your spirit says, get up and meditate, a discipline is happening either way. There's a discipline that's saying, let me get up and meditate. And there's a discipline that's saying, let me go back to sleep. It's both discipline. Pick the one that's going to get you to your highest timeline. You can stay here and deal with the chaos that's happening here in this world, because it is crazy, y'all. It is pure crazy. Every time I hear something about the news, I'm like, what? Or you can make the decision to go to a fifth dimensional reality. That's just it. And it's lovely. It is a lovely place to be. Everyone is lovely. Everyone is peace. Someone said to me, well, how do you know? Because, and I'll give you an example. Someone can be in a third dimension and a fifth dimension in the same room, in the same building, the same house. Their experiences are different. Both of you can go on Google at the same time and look up a doctor. One's going to get a doctor that pops up that's going to prescribe medication, prescription medication. One's going to get a doctor that's holistic. That's the one operating in the fifth dimension versus the one that's operating in third dimension. You get to walk a life where doors just open, where you don't have to fight. The only thing you're fighting is those traumas that are coming to the surface where you don't want to deal with. That's the fight. That's where warrior comes up. Not fighting yourself on your path, fulfilling your soul mission. That's not where you fight. Your spirit team is there to fight on your behalf. You fight your traumas. You fight those triggers. Every day you make a decision. Every day you fight making a decision on what you're going to do. I had a student last night and she shared she was going through some stuff, like some serious stuff. And someone said, hey, we have class, you're not here. And she was like, I don't feel like doing the whole class thing today. This is what she said. In that moment, she made a decision. She could have kept in that energy and try to figure out her stuff herself. She said, let me log into class. And she said, I'm so grateful that I came into class because I get it. There was some healing, there was some activation that happened. And it's the very thing that she was struggling with, someone answered that. And it was relieved. She made a decision, y'all. Let me get back. We are entering a season now, from now until the winter solstice. And this season is, I heard the word uncloaking. It is uncloaking all of your stuff. all the crap. It has to come up, it has to come out, all of it. Okay? It has to fall away, literally the fall. Because once we hit this winter solstice, we go into dormant. When I tell you, in this dormant season, we go inside. It's a hibernation. That's when we start activating out. Ooh. You know when a bear goes to hibernate and he comes out ravenous and hungry and you're going to come out like in this energy, this powerful energy. But in order to hibernate well, in order to integrate well, in order to really get into that deep space where it's like spirit is gonna massage you, your spirit, you got to get rid of all the crap. This shit has to go. This has to go. How do you know what it is, Professor? Every time you have an emotional reaction, you have an emotional reaction to something, check it. Where is this coming from? A low vibrational emotional reaction. Where is this coming from? That's a trigger. Something needs to be healed. You go and meditate. Ask your spirit team, what is this? Ask someone in your community group, what is this? How do I do the work to not heal it? We don't heal no more. We clear. We're not doing healing work. Spirit said that's putting a band-aid. The scar is still there. We clearing it away like it never existed. Okay? Because in the reality we enter into, that never existed anyway. So we're clearing. And so this is going to be a season of clearing. You know your stuff. You know your shit. You understand? We all got our stuff. Because next year begins so much newness and so many spaces of opportunity in your lives. But we got to do this work first. Opportunities in everything, everything, newness in everything, everything. Everything. But you have to get those blinders out, those distortions out. Someone said that they were, I'm trying to be abundant and I'm trying to think abundant. You got blinders on somewhere. We got to get rid of those blinders, because being an abundant spiritual being means that you always see abundance. When you always see abundance, opportunities are always there. They're overflowing to you. So much that you can't catch them, because you're operating in that space. You hear me? Look, y'all? I'm not gonna really show y'all. Let me tell y'all without really showing y'all. I'm holding. Make sure that I'm not showing y'all too much. These are 4. Can y'all see? 4 out of 5 checks that I received this week. What the hell? TransUnion sent me a check for something I don't even know about. There was some sort of lawsuit that I was part of. CFPB, my insurance company was like, "Oh, you overpaid something." 300, 100, 200, 900. And I'm sharing this with you because I see abundance everywhere, everywhere. I'm not thinking like lack at all. Well, you can say that, Professor, because you have the YouTube, you have a lot of subscribers, you have spiritual AU. Yeah, and there was a time when I didn't. There was a time where I left my career, I left my husband, I left my home, I left my car. I had a dope ass car, Yukon XL Denali. What you talking about, with rims? Okay, for a 2002 Camry. I left everything and moved in with my parents in the attic with my 3 daughters, y'all. I had nothing, but I had peace. I was in the backyard grounding and talking to the trees, and the animals were coming up to me, and I saw abundance everywhere back then. And I didn't say, well, this is not working. The spiritual stuff isn't working. I didn't say any of that. I just knew that there's something to this, and let me just keep going. I don't care what obstacle it is. I don't care what the obstacle is. Death couldn't stop me, and it tried a few times in the past few years. But I continue to see abundance in everywhere and in everyone. Nobody can come to me talking low. I'm going to find the abundance in you. I'm going to pull it out and present it to you. And that's how we have to start looking at things. That's how we have to start behaving. Whatever those blinders are that are stopping us from that, we have to remove it. Y'all, me meeting this woman last week, what? She filled in a piece. I said I didn't know what she told me. I didn't know what I told her. She didn't know. And she's sharing books with me, and I'm saying, you read this book, and we're exchanging this information that I can share with you all. Do you understand? Abundance of knowing, abundance of information. I didn't look at her because she's of a certain ethnic, she's a certain sex or a certain ethnicity or a certain culture. None of that. I just said there's something here for me that's going to contribute to my work. Y'all get it? Do you get it? I'm giving you examples. It's important, especially for those who are in leadership positions. It's important to share with people like, this is real because I've done it and you can do it too. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you stuff that I got out of a book that I heard that I haven't experienced, because I get it. Like, I get how challenging it is. Trust me. And I can tell you how to overcome these things. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. So last year, oh my gosh, last year, Spirit said, the year before last, I think 5 years ago, I started the liver detoxes, right? And like, I don't know how many, over 1,000 people have done it, more than that, a couple of thousand. And 1 year I stopped because it's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility on me. It's just a lot of information. It's very specific. You got to get it right. A lot. And 2 years ago, Spirit said, do it again. And I was like, are you sure? Like, I hesitated for a while. Did it again. We did it last year. Phenomenal. Spirit said again. But this time, address the kidneys before the liver. And I said, okay. But before the kidneys, address parasites. And I was like, what? And I share with you, I went to my family's homeland, and my 95-year-old cousin confirmed that this was supposed to happen. Listen, when Spirit said it's meant to be a three-part thing over the year, I didn't fully understand why. And I shared that I fully don't understand why, but I know it's something with our DNA, something with our bodies, our cellular structure. Listen. So when I'm speaking to the woman, we're talking about genetics. We're talking about organs. We're talking about what food does to the body, not the basic stuff. We're not talking about basic human anatomy. What I mean by human anatomy is teeth, stomach, etc. We're talking about genes here with the unseen. And we're talking about what it does at the cellular level. And I said, oh my gosh, this is why. This is why we did these detoxes, because we're not addressing the physical body. We're not addressing health. Yes, you become healthy. Yes, wonderful things happen. Your skin clears, you lose weight. Wonderful. We're here to activate that 98% DNA. We're here to activate that 90% DNA. And as I explained to you, with the liver, the lymphatic system, the meridian points, the chakras, which are energy portals, how they're affected when the liver is clogged. Years ago, I said that I believe that the liver was the most important organ. You can live without a heart. Okay. Yes, you can. You can live without a heart. There is a young man who lived without a heart in his body for over a year. He had a heart in his bag. Okay. You can live without a brain. You can be brain dead. You can live, but you can't live without a liver. Your liver is gone. That's it. You become jaundiced. They give you a few days, if any, to live. Why? Because it is a powerhouse. It is a spiritual powerhouse. It literally is a light in your body. And so what started happening in the 90s, literally targeting Generation X to prevent what was happening with the younger generations, is let's start destroying that powerhouse in their body. And these shots, these vaccines, all this stuff that's happening literally is attacking this powerhouse in your body. And it's preventing the sun from doing its true work of detoxing you. What do I mean by that? The sun activates the melanin. We all have melanin. The sun activates the melanin, and the melanin sequesters the toxins in your blood, in your body. It takes it, it brings it, takes it to the liver. You do what you need to do with it. If the liver's like, we full, can't deal with it, then those toxins sit in your body and they back up and they end up in lymph nodes, in your armpits. We think of breast cancer. No, they're lymph nodes that go in here, behind your knees, in your hips, all through your body, stomach, there, in your arms, and they back up in those places, those toxins. And then we have cancers. And that's what it is. That's what the cancer is, a patented word. That's essentially what that is. And so there's been an attack on beings. And it's not just to make you sick for what purpose? Like, no. You have to understand that everything that happens on this planet is spiritual. It manifests physically, and you see it as physical because you're told that. But those people that are in power are actively doing spiritual work on a regular basis. The thing is that they don't have the codings within them. You do. So they have to use you to activate their power. And we're not going to get too deep into that right now. So with that said, yes, Ernest George, it's all connected. Yes, cancer is patented. It's patented. We don't learn any of this stuff. Doctors don't know this stuff. Doctors don't know this stuff. Yes. So with that said, we are doing this liver detox. It actually starts this Sunday. There's a 4-phase detox. This is different than any one before. There's a prep week. There is the actual release, where it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I feel good. No, anyone that has done it, there's evidence. You release actual gallstones. You don't have to have the surgery. You can release them naturally. So it's like a mini surgery that we do. You release parasites, release all kinds of stuff. You can see them, you can hear them being released. And then we go through recovery phase, because you have, like I said, it's a mini surgery. So you have to shrink your gallbladder back down to its size. And then we have the 4th phase, which is integration. Okay. And so with every course, everything that I've been hosting since June, I've always asked Spirit, how many people? I only want to magnetize those who are meant to be there. Okay. I never want someone in class or part of something that isn't in resonance at all. Right. So I always say, if it resonates with you, join. If not, it's okay. It's not the time. So I always ask for a number. And my daughter will tell you, I've even told some students, I'll hear 33, I'll hear 55, I'll hear whatever the number is, 12. And that's the number. And once that we get that number, that's it. The doors are closed. And so for this liver detox, the 4-phase one that we're doing is over 4 weeks, starts on Sunday the 26th, ends the end of October. I got the number 39 on Thursday. Thursday, I got the number 39. And I said, okay, 39 more. I told my daughter only 39 more spots. Put the number of 39. Once that happens, then it'll be sold out for the 4-phase, because there's already people that registered for the whole year, but only 39 more. Okay. There's a limit. That was the number that I received. And what happens is, again, 4 phases, you get the teas, the blends for 3 of the phases. Some of the herbs you've never heard of before, but they're meant to help heal you, recover. Some of the herbs are very spiritually inclined, which we'll talk about in class. There's menus, so I will tell you what to eat, what not to eat, okay? And it's not that strict, y'all. It's not that strict, okay? There's community where you can share. People love sharing their pictures of what releases in week 2. It's just a wonderful space to be in. And then we have conversations, there's affirmations, there's spiritual work that happens. There's always something that happens. The liver holds on to anger, resentment. Just it's a lot of, you know, I was watching this, I saw these memes one day last week, and it was like you're spiritual until you in traffic, right? You're all spiritual and peace and love until you in traffic, and then somebody's a mother effer, in front of you. Where'd that come from, right? These are the triggers that I'm saying that need to come up out of you to be released, right? If I'm in traffic, I'm in traffic, like what am I gonna do? Let me play some music, let me listen to something, right? So when those rage come out of you, and too much it happens, then that needs to be cleared. There's something going on, right? When you are integrated spiritually, you see things from a higher level. You see things from a higher space, and you realize, like, I'm not going to put energy into that. What am I angry about? What am I so frustrated about, right? And so that's a spiraling to a certain level. Okay. I'm not saying that you're not going to have righteous indignation over something unrighteous happening, but minor things, you flying off the handle, we got to deal with that. All right. And so these are some of the spiritual things that it deals with, on top of the fact that um, there's cellular work. Back in July, I was told, um, when it comes to food, and this is a whole different entire lesson, look at cellular structure with your genome as an individual. Do you understand? This is why I say everyone is not meant to be vegan. I don't care what anybody says. Everyone's not meant to be vegan. Everyone's not to be meant to be carnivores. You are meant to do what is right for your body. And how do you know? Your spirit team will tell you. There are certain people that have to eat plant-based because of the work that they do. And there's certain people that have to have meat because of the work they have to do. And there's some people that need to have certain root carbs because of the work they have to do. What is your work dictates the nourishment that you need to have. That's the real deal. Doesn't matter what our ancestors 10,000 years ago ate. They weren't doing what we're doing now. They didn't have electromagnetic radiation or all kinds of stuff happening. Do you understand? So these are, again, that's for a whole different entire lesson. But this is something that I was told to me again in June. All this bringing us back to the cell, to the gene, to our DNA, to those 12 strands that we have. Although they only talk about the 2, there's 12 strands. We won't get into that right now. And ultimately, it's not about healing the body. It's about allowing space for activation to happen. Okay. Activation can't happen the way it needs to happen when your cells are clogged up with toxins and trash and stuff. Okay. So with that said, Shani said, my daughter said, I told you, mommy. With that said, uh, I hope that you were able to get some good information. I don't recall fully everything that I said here today. I know I wanted to share um, the connections that I received about, what has been happening over the past few decades with you all, for you to have a greater understanding. Um, Again, we're not taught, and it's unfortunate. There is a whole generation of doctors that don't know genetics, and when you go to a doctor and you have 10 different symptoms, they just treat the 10 symptoms instead of saying, wait a minute, this is because you may have this abnormality, this genetic abnormality. They don't know, right? And again, it also gives you 10 different drugs that destroys your liver. And now it's challenging for us to activate or stay on our path as spiritual beings. So with that said, I want you, Shirley says, speak, professor, eat according to your DNA, your work. It's true. So with that said, I want you all to connect tonight. It literally, the vision that I got and I shared it with the class is, I saw like a placid lake, and you could see the sky and trees, but in the lake you saw the same sky and trees. And it was like, pick one. Pick one. There's a reflection. One is a different dimension. Our goal is to be in alignment with our highest selves, which means in our highest timeline. Okay. And we make choices every day to be in that timeline. Okay. Again, we won't go too deep into that right now either. But I just wanted to come on here and share that with you. And then if you are in residence, invite you for the Liver Detox. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited every year for it. It is the most hilarious, gross, fun, weird, like every year is something different. Every year is different. And we do have a private chat room, and I will make sure there's a private chat room for all the pictures. Y'all know what pictures I'm talking about. But yeah, but it's going to be phenomenal. So if you feel so inclined, we would love to see you. The link is in the description down below. For those who have questions, email me. You can email info@spiritualau.com. I noticed in the last couple of videos, the email wasn't there. And someone asked, what is the email? info@spiritualau.com. Keisha, you said it's liberating every year. Yes, it is. The liver detox is some of everything. It is some of everything. Like, oh my gosh, y'all. We had to create a special chat thread because people were releasing gallstones, and my daughter opened the chat room, was like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing poop pictures. And I'm like, no, it's not poop, it's bile and gallstones. So with that said, everyone have a, oh yeah, the parasite one was crazy, right? That one was crazy. Mushy green peas. Oh my gosh, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful night. Do your work, y'all. If you don't meditate any other day, meditate today. For those of you who received the alignment letter, I gave you a short ritual that you can do tonight for the equinox. Do it. Do it. Even if you take a spiritual bath, do it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. Like, tonight really is powerful. It really is going to shift you to a higher dimensional space. For those who are in the collective, we did the activation ritual tonight. Those, you can watch the replay. And I also gave you a PDF document of a ritual that you can do for this equinox. Okay. Peace, Dara. Good to see you as well. Yes, Layla, it was hilarious last year. So with that said, Tanya, the alignment letter. So go to spiritualau.com, and then you go to the threshold, and you can sign up there. Okay. Keisha, did you have to send an email to info@spiritualau.com? You may have registered with a different email address. So send an email tonight. Send an email tonight, and I will flag it for Lami to check. Okay. Latanda, you said, I'm so glad you create a separate space for people to share their pictures. Yes. Oh my goodness, my pleasure. Yes, Jane, the Kali Nagas are here. The Great Awakening and the return of the Great Mother. Absolutely. Namaste, Sheila. Everyone have a wonderful night. Welcome, Spiritually Awakened. Welcome to all of the new subscribers. Welcome. This is a very high vibrational place. I'm here for those who are on their spiritual paths, who are ready to lead, to embody who they are, to activate spiritually, not to stay in the same loops of the same old, same old. Like, we over that, right? We actually doing work over here. Okay. We're learning over here, and with practical applications that we can actually use in our everyday lives, right? Yes, if you don't have a gallbladder, there is a group for you all as well. My pleasure, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Peace. Good night.